It's time for some real education. This is St. Peter's Baldachin, or the Baldacchino. And take a look at the big picture here, Mikey. Show them that one. That's amazing. This is a monumental sculpture, an architectural sculpture created by our artist of the week, Gian Lorenzo Bernini, who I think is probably, he's one of the two great towering figures of the Baroque period. I would throw Caravaggio into that mix as a painter, and then you've got Bernini. And this is take a look at this to get a sense of how big the Baldacchino is. Take a look at the man standing there on the altar, at the high altar in St. Peter's in the Vatican, and look at how monumental that piece of sculpture. Those are the columns of Solomon from the Old Testament, that kind of not Greek or Roman columns, but that twisting Solomonic column from the Hebrew that originated out of the story of Solomon and into Western culture. And you can see just how big this is, staggeringly big. So this is that, my friends, that cover, that canopy, if you will, canopy that covers the altar or shields it. It is the Baldacchino. Or in Italian, the Baldacchino di Pietro l'Altare di Bernini. It's a large Baroque sculpted bronze canopy, technically called a ciborium, or a baldachin, over the high altar of St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City, the city-state and papal enclave surrounded by Rome, Italy. The Baldacchino, is at the center of the crossing and directly under the dome of the basilica. It was intended to mark in a monumental way the place of St. Peter's tomb, buried directly under the altar. Under its canopy is the high altar of the basilica, commissioned by Pope Urban VIII. The work was begun in 1623 and ended in 1634. The Baldacchino acts as a visual focus inside the basilica. It is a large structure, forms a visual mediation, a congruency between the enormous scale of the building and the human scale of the people officiating the ceremony. So there you have where the priest would stand on the altar. And look at how small the priest is vis-a-vis the Baldacchino. And then how small the Baldacchino is vis-a-vis the entire basilica. And this is a view standing under the Baldacchino and looking straight up. I mentioned already that these were the old Solomonic columns mounted above the balcony, upper right and background against the wall. The bronze and gilded baldachin was the first of Bernini's works to combine sculpture and architecture, and represents an important development in Baroque church interior design and furnishing. The canopy rests upon 4 helical columns, each of which stands on a high marble plinth. The columns support a cornice which curves inwards in the middle of each side. Above this, 4 twice life-size angles, 4 of them, stand at the corners, behind whom 4 large volutes rise up to a second smaller cornice, in which turn supports the gilded cross on the sphere, a symbol of a world redeemed by Christianity. It is a complicated work of art. It's more than we can go through in a short segment like the instant classics, but I hope this may make you more interested in the Baldacchino and the work of Bernini, which we're going to be studying all week long.